There we go. Hopefully, we don't have too many people who are going to call me on the telephone instead of actually call me in StreamYard. But we are going to go to our first guest joining us today here on our big program. We are going to the Spikes. I believe the Spikes are joining us. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm doing. I'm doing. I'm doing. Super well. So super well. So super well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. We welcome you to the broadcast. So tell us a little bit about the Spikes.
Okay. Well, actually, well. So so the spikes is my. It is my. I guess we will call it my alter ego.
Okay.
I adopted the and it is a project that I started when I left my first punk band when I was about
Fantastic.
18 and I started to just write songs and it kind of it the yeah, I mean the spikes is me. It's just my honest. It's you know. It's me creating the songs that I love to create and to write words that resonate to me specifically, and that hopefully can resonate, to other people too.
Fantastic. We have got the Spikes with us today. Join us live here on our big broadcast. We are live coast to coast and border to border here on iHeartRadio. And the Spikes are with us. So, for listeners just discovering you, how did this project come together for you?
Um. So well. This whole album was kind of something I've been thinking about was something that I've been kind of thinking about for okay, look, for actually for quite some a time. I wrote the first I wrote the first record with a specific sound idea and a concept. And I would say First Light is a more refined and a more tuned in um, version of my first album. Um, yeah, I mean, I just started to write songs that resonated with me. I wanted to, I w- and I wanted to also touch, on a bunch of different subjects, and yeah, it. I am I am so sorry. I didn't quite
No. You're good, baby.
comprehend
You're good.
what the exact question was. I'm so sorry. I didn't quite
No. We're
comprehend.
gonna move on. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. We've got the Spikes with us today. They join us live here on our big broadcast. So, what? How would you describe your sound and artistic mission for everybody?
Hmm, hmm. That's a pretty good a quick question. I I would say my sound leans more towards the alternative route and more towards the experimental. I try to always experiment with I try to always experiment with the different sounds and the different the different the and with the different kind of instruments. But for me, what matters to most about my sound and my music in general is that the words have to cut through. Is that the words are the at the forefront always. Um, that is something that I always try to put forward, um, as I create as I create as I create a record.
Fantastic. We've got the Spikes with us today. Join us live here on our big broadcast. The debut single "Guns for the Children" is a powerful and emotional track. What sparked this idea behind this song, my friend?
Well, that song came from two. It came from two separate occasions in my life. Um, the first one, for instance, was when me and my family were at like a Walmart, and something that I remember specifically was we were kind of roaming down the aisle, and I just remember specifically seeing the toy section right in front of the right in front of the gun section, and that was something that kind of it never really left. The idea that a child could go down the aisle, he can see all his toys, and then all of a sudden see a shotgun or a handgun is something that disturbed me on a disturbed me kind of on a it kind of struck something in me. It kind of did struck something in me. The second occasion that that also that also that also that also good kind of it gave me the inspiration to kind of start to talk about this subject was when I first moved to the US. I would turn on the news, or I would, scroll through Instagram or through Facebook and through like, the BBC. And there would just be news sections of just shootings in America, and not just in stores, but in schools. And that was something that to actually be to actually live in a place and having just moved to a place where these kinds of things happen, it it it's hard really to put to words, but it shocks you to the point that it kind of forces you to have to deal with it, to have to kind of accept it. That is the best way how I can put it. So my way to accept it was I wrote a song called "Guns for the Children," which is kind of a cry uh, which is kind of a cry and a weep for help. Because you know, no, it was my way to talk about the distaste I have for the gun culture here in the US. Was a way for me to express that in a artistic way.
Fantastic. Fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Joins us live here on our broadcast. The Spikes are with us here on our big broadcast. And how do we find you guys on social media and the websites and all these things?
Oh, okay. Well, so you can you will know find me on Instagram, to TikTok, X, pretty much any social media thing that like you may that you know that you may think about. My handle is usually the it is usually the spikes. I am also on all streaming platforms. So iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, all of the whole kind of 9 yards. Yeah, yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on. We're going to get to our next guests. They
Mm,
are to fight for, and we are going to go to them here in just a few moments. But thanks for making some
mm,
time for us today. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. There he goes. That is the Spikes with us today here on our big broadcast. Coast to coast, born and a boner on iHeartRadio today. And we are going to go to our next guests. We're going to bring them in here on the old StreamYard and make sure to get everybody in here. I don't know how the hell this is going to work with StreamYard, but we'll figure it out. Look at that. It worked it somehow, and then I hit a button. Well, that's what happens. We we have two great guests with us today, and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here on our program.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for having us.
So I want to make sure I got everybody in here. I believe I want to make sure I get everybody. I'm assuming Brad is part of your group because he's here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, because I had this. I had it. Reason I ask is because I had an issue on Saturday, I think it was. We did an interview, and I interviewed a band, but I interviewed basically two members of each band because they all showed up at the same time. It was quite the deal. I've never done anything like that ever. So I essentially did two interviews with two separate bands, but they were all this. It was just wild. But
That's fun.
that's StreamYard. That's pretty much what we're doing these days. But we have got some great guests with us today, and they join us today here on our Sunday radio broadcast here on kjagradio.com. And today on the show, we are joined by one of the most exciting new voices in Nashville, to fight for. This trio has just released their powerful new single, Brightly. It is a track that hits with massive breakdowns, unforgettable hooks, and a message rooted in truth, vulnerability, and faith. Brightly marks the beginning of an ambitious next chapter, the first of 5 releases leading into their Glorify Deluxe Reissue EP, which is going to be arriving in May of 2026 with a growing reputation for passion, conviction, and a live show that pulls fans straight into the experience. To Fight For is a band on a mission, not to follow trends, but to change lives, and they are with us today here on our big broadcast. Let's dive into the heart behind the heaviness. Welcome to Fight For. Gentlemen, thank you for making some time for us today here on our big program.
Yes, thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for
So,
having us.
go ahead and introduce yourselves. Go. Let's go around the horn and have you guys introduce yourselves.
Al, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
All right. My name is Hal, also known as Hal the Pal. I am the bassist and backing vocalist for To Fight For, based around Middle Tennessee. And honestly, just a partner in the studio that, Bobby and I, are part of Revelation Studio. And so, yeah, a little bit about me. I've been, part of Southern culture in Tennessee, and then a little bit of that, what they call Buckeye culture up in Ohio, Central Ohio. So I'm too Buckeye for the Southerners, but I'm also too Southern for the Buckeyes. So, I don't fit in nowhere. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'll jump in. Hey everyone, I'm Brad, drums for To Fight For. Yeah, as Hal mentioned, we've been playing a couple shows throughout the South, the Midwest. We just got back from our Distilled Alliance tour about 2 weekends ago with Ashes Rain and Gate Closer and other local support. Pleasure to be with you here on the show today.
And I'm Bobby Joe, and I am lead guitar and lead vocals. And I basically do like all the like technical aspects of the band for the most part. Everything from like the lighting and the studio stuff to, art design and everything else. But we all each have individual things that we do, so it all comes together.
That is awesome. Well, Brightly is described as your most vulnerable and urgent song yet. What moment or realization inspired this track for you guys?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It came from the fact of just looking around and, seeing that people have a lot of potential to do things in life, and they're just directing those, God-given lights to just the wrong things. And to be able to employ those in a way that we've been created to do. And that's not in a prideful or, egotistical type of way, but more to serve others with the gifts that you've been given.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got great guests with us today to fight for. Join us live here on our big broadcast. So the song tackles heavy themes like sin, deception, redemption. How personal is this song to each of you?
Well, since I had written the lyrics for it, obviously it is very personal for me. I came from a really dark past, so I've lived on both sides of the spectrum. So I've lived on the without God side and the with God side, and I can speak on both ends. So this song was literally a realization of sorts that it's better when you're doing the things that you're made to do, and you're not trying to satisfy, selfish desires and types of things like that, but you're actually trying to pour out into the world what you're supposed to.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
I agree with Bobby. It's a really good song to just kind of cut straight to the heart of the matter and really just be honest with ourselves, right? It's a plea from the heart. We're really speaking to ourselves even more so than other people, but it's a chance for people to kind of like take that ownership and make the right choices at the end of the day.
Ditto. Yeah, it's definitely recalls me back over to the moment where honestly I really just hit rock bottom and literally just kind of gave like a final plea, like, God, if you really are out there, just do something with me, just show me that you're out there, otherwise I'm just gonna check out. I'm gonna leave you to interpret how that goes and whatnot. But that's one of the reasons why I think it holds such a special place in my heart, is that it helps me to remember that time where I had that, and he answered. So
that's awesome. We have got great guests with us today to fight for. Join us live here on our big broadcast. Talking about the brand new single, the blend of a gospel-tinged vocals with crushing breakdowns is unique. What pushed you toward that direction?
So I always knew, like, kind of grew up on some like gospel sounds and stuff like that, and I had ended up meeting this guy that he helped us, great, amazing singer, and just along that process, just kind of we recorded some of the upcoming songs that have feature his voice on it, and then it just turned into this like wanting to create worship within metal sound without making it be something that a person who's never even experienced that type of music would, not be able to just like go, oh, this is like, worship music, I'm gonna turn it off. You know what I mean? But be able to have uplifting, melodies and choruses and things that were tied in within the music to really kind of pull the listener into that worship without letting them feel like it is worship, if that makes sense.
That is awesome. That is awesome. We have got great guests with us today. They join us live here on our big broadcast. So, the lyrical depth and the spiritual message, let's talk a little bit about it. You guys talk about rejecting the lies we live in. What lies do you think most people struggle to confront?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think these days lies are kind of all around us. Everything from the financial system that we live in and the economics of today's world, everything to just feeling like you can't trust everything that you see online, down to just personal relationships. Sometimes there's kind of a battle between truth and lies there, and so I think it can be anything. There's a really important opportunity that everybody has to seek truth with the life that they've been given, and yeah, the more that we choose that, the more desirable the truth becomes. The more we want the truth, the more the truth will be in our lives. So can be a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we tend to surround ourselves with in regards to like lies is the different things that we let become our identity. For example, I very well could be the guy who is working as an assistant for a multi program assessment center, or I could be the guy who plays guitar on the church music team or whatever. Whatever I let become my identity, like, is only temporary. That's not even wholly who I am. And I think a lot of people, let their education, they let their politics, they let just anything go and fill that identity. And that identity really is, kind of like a big hole, and pretty much everything else just kind of jangles around in there. It doesn't even fill it up. And, nothing can really quite satisfy that identity, that's of this world. And I think that's probably at least a big container of like the lies that we surround ourselves with, that a lot of people let rule themselves. So
We have got some great guests with us today. They join us live here on our big broadcast. And To Fight For is with us, and they join us here on our big program. So let's talk a little bit about the band identity and the mission. Nashville isn't always the first place you think of for heavy music. How has your city shaped you guys and the band and everything?
That's actually a really funny. That's everyone kind of has that outlook for Nashville, and it's actually funny because Nashville has a really, really growing metal scene, and a lot of the actual bigger acts do live in Nashville. Everything from Memphis Mayfire to gosh, I'm trying to think of other ones like Paramore,
Whitechapel.
Whitechapel, there. It's just very, very diverse. Gone is the days of just it being country music. It's become literally Music City, and not just Music City because it's country music city. It's Music City because everyone who does anything about music is in Nashville,
That's
and
awesome.
so that's a really cool aspect of Nashville. And it's also really cool because when you're carrying the Nashville name around and you're playing metal, people already expect you to be like super country. You know what I mean? So we kind of have a thing within the band where we just kind of talk like super Southern so that people,
Yeah.
so we fit the mold, you know what I mean? And we just do it as a joke, but it really takes people back when you do say that you're from Nashville and then you come out playing that kind of stuff. Yeah, it definitely, it does. But there is such a great and growing culture in Nashville, in the underground scene of hardcore, as well as just metal shows in general all over Nashville. So we're really lucky in that fact because there's a lot of support from venues to be able to play on bigger shows and things that come through. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for metal in Nashville.
It's awesome. We have got To Fight For with us today. They join us live here on our big program. So if people want to find you on social media or the websites or anything, how do they do that exactly?
You can find us at tofightfor.com. We are To Fight For / To Fight For official across different social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X / Twitter, Bandcamp, YouTube, the whole nine. And yeah, we've got our Blatant music video on YouTube. So just type in To Fight For and Blatant. You'll see us as the first result on YouTube. And our next single's coming out in just a couple weeks here, the Friday before Thanksgiving.
Fantastic. We have got To Fight For with us today. They join us live here on our big program. So your message feels rooted in courage and truth. Where does the fire come from as far as that for the band?
I'll speak on this. You guys speak on this. Yeah, because the thing is like it's because of the fact that I'm writing the lyrics. Obviously, that's where the fire comes from. Mostly for most people, is through the lyrics, right? So for me, it's just been life experience and really like a coming to know what I'm supposed to accomplish, why I've gone through the things that I've gone through, why I'm surrounded around the people that I'm surrounded to do this with, which are my best friends right here, doing what we love and what we've been gifted and created to do. And so it's the very first and foremost love is a love for God and for what he's done in my life. I know they will say the same exact thing, but it's showing other people, like I said, I've been on both sides. So now it's a mission to spread truth of like, hey, I've been on that side. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? And kind of going out into the world and doing that.
That is awesome. We have got To Fight For with us today. They join us live here on our big program. So you've said you're not chasing trends. What keeps you guys grounded artistically while the genre constantly shifts?
This is a really good question. I love what Bobby shared with the previous question too. I just want to put my +1 on that answer too. But yeah, all three of us are very eclectic and even eccentric a little bit with our musical tastes. Bobby loves like all kinds of music: rock, country, blues, gospel. Hal and I are big synthwave fans, so we love kind of that 80s feel, some solos, some ripping guitar, all that good stuff. So I think we're all kind of bringing our own little element into it. And even though the songs were written just before I joined the band, I kind of brought my own instrumentation to the drums, my own kind of metalcore, blast beat, death metal feel to it. And Hal and Bobby definitely do the same with some of their lead parts, and Hal with backup vocals too, all different kinds of things. So yeah, we really just kind of bring our individual elements to it and help the song and the artistry become what it can't be with just our own individual parts. The sum becomes the greatest part of it.
We have got some great guests today to fight for. Join us live here on our big broadcast. So, when fans hear brightly, what's the core truth or emotion you hope hits them the hardest?
That would be just like I said, just kind of having that realization of like, hey, like I feel something pulling me towards like truth. You know what I mean? Like, just one of the opening lines says, remember when we were innocent, and it's speaking back to like thinking about when you're in your childhood, when you knew nothing of the world's lies and everything was just, pure and natural, and you were not yet deceived by the world or hurt by, some girl that broke your heart, or, some friend that lied to you, or whatever it is. We were all created with this innocence in the beginning, and it's kind of chasing after that again through realization of like, being lied to through like what we alluded to in the when Brad answered that question, being lied to through the systems that are set up to lie to us, to keep us in a slavery mindset. Do you know what I mean? And that goes for spiritual, emotional, I mean, you name it. And it's just coming out of that. And if we can get people to just realize those things and come into, a truth just through music. Music's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful method of being able to reach people. And just that would be it, is just hoping that they can latch onto lyrics and hear and actually kind of feel truth and hope.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, before we let you go, how do people get the music and support what you guys are doing online?
Yeah, you can go to fightfor.com Bandcamp. It's tofightfor.bandcamp.com. Anywhere on social media. Hal, I saw you were gonna say something too.
What our drummer said.
There you go.
Did all the digital media outlets, Spotify, Apple, all that.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Jiggy. I don't know if we can hear you.
I think we lost your sound.
Yeah, something happened.
I feel like I'm on a CNN or Fox News panel right now.
Gets me every time. Somebody calling on the regular telephone.
Yeah.
It's the Vortex, ladies and gentlemen, when we love it. So, gentlemen, before we let you go, when is that EP coming out in May?
That'll be a good question. It's coming out probably mid to late May. We haven't finalized the official release date yet, but yeah, definitely before Memorial Day.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thanks for doing this. I look forward to chatting with you guys soon. Thanks for making some time, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you for letting us be Jiggy with you.
Definitely. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Have yourself